Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. That's right, it's Wednesday. We have arrived here to talk about a very fine live album that just came out. And of course, to join me on this particular episode, all the way up from Canada, Mr. Rick Labonte. What's up, my friend?
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. We were just chit chat. Oh, he's got. There we go. Got to get
Yeah,
it
gotta get it
authentic
ready.
there. That's right. So we're here to talk about, as I have alluded to in previous episode, Transatlantic, the brand new triple live album, triple CD, Blu-ray or DVD, depending on what you get. Live album. It's called The Final Flight live at Le Olympia. Is that how you say that? How do you say that? The Olympia?
I think that's how you say it, and it's a legendary venue. I mean, people from Zeppelin to everybody that was somebody played that legendary theater. So that must have been a pretty historic day for them.
Yeah, pretty much. And as Rick and I were just chatting off camera, this based on everything we're hearing from some of the guys in the band anyway, this might be the final thing we hear from Transatlantic. I guess, until I hear from their mouths to say this is officially it, kind of sounds like it is. I think they feel that Transatlantic has kind of run its course and they went out to this final tour, recorded this, and this is going to be it. So I guess no more new music. Rick, are you hearing anything different? That's kind of the vibe
Well,
I'm.
the only thing outstanding yet is the Transatlantic performance at the Morse Fest. That's going to be released on a DVD from, I think it was one of the years. I have a few of the performances of, I have a collection of the Morse Fest, but there's one coming out. So there's one more live material coming out, but that might be the last performance for a while. Who knows? But definitely, you got to understand the band. They came out in year 2000, right? And they basically only came out with 6 albums, really, in that whole 23 years of period, because they're busy guys doing everything in their other band, coming together as a super group. But they did such amazing thing the last time around. They basically put out 3 versions of this last record, and they feel like they kind of done everything they could
Yeah.
do as a prob epic band. And so whether you get the shorter version or the absolute version or the 5.1 DVD, which is like an extra 20 more minutes of music that they didn't include, and then you ultimately get a 4th version of this album concert because of this live performance. As you know, every time they promote an album, they usually play it entirely.
Yeah.
So if you have the Kaleidoscope album, right, and it's got some awesome feature stuff, when you get the live record, they perform that and a little bit of the greatest hit. Every one of these albums had a special DVD dedicated to the performance. And to hear them do this epic thing live in its entirety is a treat. But what they did in this particular concert, it took the greatest hits or their favorite versions or whatever to come up with a unique set list to show this album. So for some of us, if you only heard this record, the music might sound a little slightly different. Or if you only heard this album, it might be slightly different. But if you got them both, you kind of covered your ground.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this band, when you think Transatlantic, you think epic, right? So every album they've ever done is filled with like these 15, 20, 30-minute long songs. And these guys don't write short 3-minute tracks. They just
No.
don't do that. And I guess when you get to a certain point, especially with the last album, like Rick mentioned, you have a couple different versions of it. Does it get any more epic than that, whether you love it or you don't? I mean, where do you go from there, right? Do you say,
Mhm.
screw it, we're not going to do, maybe we'll do one more album and it'll be filled with 3 to 4 minute pop songs, right? Probably not. So you have to think there's really nowhere else for these guys to go. And let's talk about the band, right? So you got Mike Portnoy, who, of course, busy, always doing lots of projects. He's out touring with the Winery Dogs right now. He's got Sons of Apollo. He's got this. He's got the Neil Morse Band, Neil Morse Band, Flying Colors for the both of them as well. That's, I think, next on the horizon, based on what Mike told me a couple of months ago. I think that's coming next soon. Another Flying Colors album. I think that's the next wave. You got Pete Trewavas, obviously, in Marillion. Marillion's always keeping busy. Roy Nastalt in the Flower Kings, right? And then you have
Another busy band.
what's that? Yeah, exactly, right. And Ted Leonard, right, who plays keyboards and backup guitar on the show here on the tour. He's also the lead singer for Spock's Beard. So I mean, these guys have a million things going on. So maybe they've just decided, hey, we love playing together, we love recording new music, but we've kind of said all there is to say over the last 20 years. And I remember I saw them at the beginning when they had just released the new album. They played at Near Fest, and they played the whole brand new album, right? Their first album. And then they played some cover tunes. And it was kind of cool, right? It's like, wow, this great super group. Yeah, it's like all guys that we love and up there together. And they have managed to, every handful of years, put together a new album, and fairly quickly too, which is crazy. And maybe it's just time. But anyway, regardless of what happens, whether they continue on or not, that's really not for us to decide. And you never know, right? Never say never.
That's right. Never say never.
That Transatlantic, that's kind of it. But you never know. 5 years from now, they may be like, guys, what do you think? Right? We'll see. But to get back to the live album, so here is, as you can see, 3 CDs and the Blu-ray, which the full show and 5.1 surround sound mix, which is crazy. We'll go over the tracks in a second. But yeah, we should open this up, and it's a sprawling, a lot of discs in here, as you can see. 4 in total. Lots of great artwork, as always. And then
the book, it's like a program like you would get at a concert, with all the goodies that you want to know, with great photos, a little bit of background, the opinions about this legendary night. And honestly, Pete, we don't want it to be the final performance, but if this was the last show ever caught, what a great way to go. What a final chapter, because ultimately, not only the set list good, because they are promoting the new material, and then give you a kind of a medley of greatest hits as you will go through the songs. But the most important thing is that the performance, as they did this tour, they would analyze every night how they could, fix it a little better or improve certain things. So by the time we got to this performance, they've ironed out all the wrinkles that you would need, because again, they're not a touring band that practice and this stuff is all automatically, they can go autopilot. They really got to concentrate. In fact, that was one of the comments they made, is there's a lot of work to do this music. I mean, just to do the album, let alone to go back and remind themselves of the stuff they did in a period of, 23 years in the making of all these songs, to deliver that live and be right on point and deliver the good. They did a great job. And I'm honestly, I have a lot of prog DVDs, but this is one of the greatest 21st century prog live album to get, or in a DVD, to really sum up the whole band. If you wanted to say, don't get me wrong, these are all worth getting. I love it all, because they're going to play songs on here that you're not going to get in every show. Every D always offer some music that's not going to be another show. And just like this one, obviously, we could have promoted a new album. But the fact that they're so tight and so well done, and the crowd couldn't be a better crowd, because they sang and they were on there from the moment they walk on the stage. They commanded respect, and they had it for 3 hours.
I know. Yeah.
3 hours. I mean, that's exhausting. Just the first stuff they did up to intermission, you would like go, wow. For most people, that would be very exhausting to do physically and all that work. And yet that's only halfway to the show.
I know. And you made a great point about how these are not songs that these guys play all the time, right? Because they only get together to tour, once every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? It's not that often. So it's not like, these are battle tested songs out on the road that they play night after night after night. I mean, even their tours are short, right? I mean, when they play a dozen shows, if that, right, when they go out. So it's not like, they have to do some heavy duty, intense rehearsals before they go out and do these shows. And yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to commend the production group that worked on this concert, because, I mean, the CDs sound great, but, when you're watching the Blu-ray, the camera work is excellent. The high definition video quality is top notch. And I love the fact that throughout the show, the cameras are they're always on the guy who's, if he's singing, if he's playing a guitar solo, or they always feature all the players and give them enough time, and then go back to the audience so you can see how the audience is reacting. And you're absolutely right, it was sold out, and these happy looks on these people, the fans in attendance, singing along to it. And you know how Prague audiences are, right? They stare, they're like watching every movement of the fingers and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's like, if you're a fan of this music, that's what you want to see. And myself personally, and I'll get into the set list in a second, all of these guys are great showmen, I think, and they're absolute virtuosos on their instruments. And at any time, you're mesmerized. I mean, Mike Portnoy, I love Mike. Mike's a friend. He's such a performer. You can't not watch him, right? Because he's such a dynamo. Roy Nostal is so kind of stoic and just kind of professional. Those tasty guitar solos on that really cool looking Fender Telecaster thin line guitar. I was like, whoa, look at that. Neil Morris is amazing. I love watching Ted Leonard up there, Pete Travis. I mean, the whole band is just so good. And it's a really, really great show. If you're a fan, you got to have this. And now we'll get into the set list. So disc 1, The Absolute Universe, right? So we've got intro, overture, Reaching for the Sky, Higher Than the Morning, The Darkness and the Light, Take Now My Soul, Bully, Rainbow Sky, Looking for the Light, and The World We Used to Know, which that's such a great song. Over on disc 2, you get Mike Portnoy kind of introducing things and the guys in the band. You get The Sun Comes Up Today, Love Made Away, The Prelude, Owl Howl, Solitude, Belong, Lonesome Rebel, Can You Feel It, Looking for the Light reprise, The Greatest Story Never Ends, and Love Made Away, right? And that's just the end of disc 2. But wait, there's more. Disc 3, you got the Whirlwind Suite. So it's like, after all of that, they're going to give you the Whirlwind Suite? What? Yes, they do. Then after that, you get Neil Morrison, Roy Nostal intro. You get We All Need Some Light. And then the final medley, which includes Duel with the Devil, My New World, All of the Above, and Stranger in Your Soul. And, by the time you're done watching this whole thing, you're like, woo, right? Because it's all good. And yeah, I mean, not many bands play 3-hour sets anymore.
I know.
I've seen Dream Theater do 3-hour sets on numerous occasions. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a 3-hour set by any other band over the last 30-35 years. Nobody else does this. You're lucky nowadays if you get 2 hours from any big band, like say an Iron Maiden or something like that. But most 90 minutes, that's what you get. Here you get paid. Who needs an opening act, right? It's an evening with Transatlantic, and you get the new album, and you get all sorts of other really cool stuff as well. So no room for cover songs in this.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. And honestly, the way you're right, everything you said about the performance and that, but you can see how emotional. I mean, Neil Morris is a pretty passionate guy. He's weeping. They even have a bus to clean it nearby because they knew it's a particular night. But you can see it in the moment of their faces when things are happening, like wow, we really nailing it. You can see that we're capturing some magic on stage. And it's very transparent to watch them. Now, see, when you get this, when you order a copy like this, back in the time, it was pre-ordered, so it'd take a while to get to you. And because they were delay in the shipment or something, Neil made it available for you to at least hear it as a download prior to waiting for the physical copy. And so I got to hear it beforehand. And I was listening it before I got to see it visually. And to me, because I'm a prog listener and I play multi-instrument, I can sit in that conductor's chair and picture all the movement and hearing everything. And that's not easy for a lot of people to do. Some people have attention deficit disorder. It might be hard for them to sit through all these long episodes. But it's a lot easier when you can see the visual and watching everybody doing their part. And I think that's what this video does. Even for those who may not be a known prog fan, you cannot watch this and not be impressed. I mean, you're watching and seeing who all doing the harmony, the vocal, who's taking the vocal here, and all the responsibility that they have while they're playing. I mean, to me, I love it. I've seen all this happening, and I could actually picture some of this, but to actually have a copy of this show and the way they perform it is like it's kind of a dream come true for a fan to really see this, because I knew I wanted to go to this tour. They didn't come to Toronto because we had some COVID rules. and they did go to Quebec, another province away. But during the winter month, and Canada had their share of snow, I wasn't gonna trudge through the snow and try
Yeah.
to put my life in harm way to see this show. And I really felt like I regret not seeing this. I feel a little better knowing that I got the tour in my collection. You know what I mean? Because I don't think any night could have topped what they did here. They went out
Probably
with a
not.
bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the grand finale, the way to go. And if they went on the very last show, and you know how powerful it was for them to be there. Look at the long encore and how long the people applaud for. This wasn't your typical. They knew they were making history, and the audience knew it too. And I think that's what made this night so special. So that's why they call it the final flight. I mean, this as it is, it's hard to top, like you said. This album, this concept, they did something so epic. And then they put out one of the greatest performances they could do on this tour available. What else do they have to prove other than just getting together because they love to do that and they unite for the fans? But they don't owe us anything. They've done so much in 6 albums that most people would ever do in 20 albums. All the work and all the thought process, whether it's the packaging. And Mike, he makes the greatest set list. When he does have control of what they're gonna play, we walk away with a great night. And so even though I wasn't there, I felt like I was there. And like you said, the camera placement and the way they captured everybody, you can tell was done by a fan. And I learned later that the same people who worked on here did the Flying Colors concert and other project that Mike had him. So they know how he worked. They know how what is expected of him. And I think this is the finest concert ever of all the work that I've seen. This is really done fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't make the New York City show. I had something else going on, so I couldn't make it happen. I kind of wish I was able to, because it would have been nice to see them one more time. But you're right, it's good to have this document, and this is, pretty epic on its own, and you do feel like you're there. I do want to mention quickly, because you said something about Neil Morse was so into this, and towards the end you could see him getting emotional. I mean, this guy, whether you love Neil Morse or you don't, right? I saw the Neil Morse band last year with Eric Porter up in Albany, New York, in front of like 50 people. Now, I know a lot of other bands and musicians who wouldn't get too excited or emotional about playing in front of 50 people, right? But like 90%, I think it was right before the encore, one of the last songs they played in the set. Neil was so getting into it and just loving the applause he was getting from the fans, all 50 of us. He was crying on stage. I mean, that's how much this guy loves his music and the fans and his faith and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this guy is a passionate dude, right? He really cares. And that goes a long way with me. I really appreciate his commitment to his music and his fans. I think that's really, really special. And the fact that he's up there playing, regardless of whether it's 2 people or 3,000, Neil Morse gives it his all, and he's into it every single night. That's a really good thing. So that doesn't get lost with me at all.
Me either. And I think lyrically he says that all along the way. And if you listen to the theme of all the messages, it's all positive. It's always there to lift people up. And I think that when you constantly sing that, how can you not be moved? How can you not be, you know what I mean? The lyrics are real. When he sings all those things to everybody in that room, he's really putting out a lot of love out there, and it's coming back 100 times forward, and rightfully so, because he's the real deal. He's really feeling it. He's the real deal. It's not acting. These guys are very, very passionate at what they do, and they hold the music in the highest regard because they deliver high quality performance. And like you said too, everybody's top notch on their own stuff. So it would be difficult. I thought Winery Dog was tough enough to watch. 3 guys are so fantastic. But now with a 3-ring circus, now you got a 5-ring circus with everybody doing what they do in the Transatlantic. What a visual. And I love the way Mike set the stage where they're on bookends with Neil on the far left and the far right.
Yeah, Mike's facing sideways, which is a little
Sideways, so you
far,
get to
right?
see
Yeah.
them, and they make connections all the time because that's the brotherhood they have, and it's very cool, and it's very unique to have a drummer performing you from the side, and you get that side profile. So that's pretty unique.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. So, kind of in finalizing this, it's hard not to rate this like the perfect live album. I mean, this is just damn good. From the production values to the music, the performances, the whole thing. It's a great looking physical package if you like that sort of thing. And then, whether you're listening to the CDs or watching it on the show on your TV, it sounds spectacular. And yeah, just if you're a fan, you probably already have it. If you're at all kind of been waiting to check out Transatlantic, you've been on the fence about where to start. Well, if you want to start with this, that's a good place to get a nice feel for their music, I think. And you can watch them on your TV screen and see them, playing it all for you. You can listen to it, but I think once you kind of get your foot in the door with Transatlantic, you'll want to go check out all the studio albums. But you got to be into this big bombastic,
That's right. It's
epic
not for
prog.
those
If you like
people.
short songs,
Yeah,
well, you've come to
that's
the wrong place. But you got to be into this sort of thing. And I think any band that's come out over the last 20 plus years who do that big symphonic, hard rocking, epic prog, that's Transatlantic. So they
right on.
take little bits from all the bands they come from, and they kind of give you this one pretty wonderful bit of noise, right? So there you have it, everybody. The
So you
Final
get
Flight live at the Olympia.
So you get two CDs and a DVD of the performance, a Blu-ray version, and I would have gave it 5 out of 5 just on the two discs. I mean, sorry, three CDs
Yeah.
and a Blu-ray disc. I mean, just a set list of the disc CD 1 and 2, 5 out of 5 for me. Just that performance alone, but they give you a great final medley of some of the stuff of their past. So if you're a fan of their other albums, you're walking away with something. So this is a really awesome thing. It's almost like an anthology box set for some people to follow a band career. So anyway, 5 out of 5 for me, without losing no sleep at this. This is an easy given, and I could have been said that just with 2 CDs in a Blu-ray, but they gave you 3 CDs in a Blu-ray, and a fantastic illustrated book inside. I mean, they go all out just like they do for the stage, just like they do in their music, and just as they do with their friendship for each other. They always go all the extra mile, and this is a testimony of that.
There you go. Well said. Well said. So there you have it, everybody. Our review of the new Transatlantic Epic Live album. So if you've heard it, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and do so. And then once you've digested it all, come back and let us know in the comments what you think. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. We also have down below the link to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations and our merch page. So go check those out as well. And look to see Rick and the next episode of The Curse of the Collectors, which will be happening this weekend, as a matter of fact. So stay tuned for that. And till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned next Wednesday for more new product reviews. Till then, for Rick Bonte, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow on the Monsters Den. Take care.